Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Catholic Schools Today. I'm Vince Chiarasoli, and on the program today, we want to go back to a school that we visited on many occasions because they're always doing such interesting things and such wonderful things. And that's kind of our mission here, is to throw a spotlight on the great things that our schools are doing. And we love visiting the Academy of St. Benedict the African. So joining us right now are Principal Jennifer Farrand and Cassandra Thornton, who's the Assistant Principal. Thank you very much for joining us today.
We're happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now we have so many things we could be talking to you about. So we're going to try to talk about two of them. But first and foremost, we've covered it over the years, and it's always a pleasure to be there. It is for your annual prayer walk for peace, and that happened on the 8th. I'm sorry, what date did it happen this year? It was your 8th annual, and
it was the 8th annual, October 19th.
And so it happened on October 19th. And it's just a wonderful moment to be a part of. Our crews who go there and document the students walking in this prayer walk for peace are really touched by it. And it was born, as we said, 8 years ago. I'd like to hear a little bit more about the origins of it and how you prepare for it.
So it started in the summer. We thought about it in the summer of 2015. It was a particularly violent summer in Chicago. And what the kids wanted to do, because they couldn't go out and play for the entire summer of summer school, was do something actionable to feel like they had some sort of hand in making a change. So we came up with the prayer walk that year, and that was the beginning of it. And we've done it every year since, except for 2021, which was the COVID school year.
And so from this very difficult moment was born this very meaningful addition to your academic year and to your community life there. And can you walk me through exactly what happens on that day?
Sure. So I'll tell you the big part, and then Ms. Thornton's going to try to tell you how the kids get ready. We have our Leo alum come back and help with that. And I'll let Ms. Thornton tell about the classrooms.
So the classrooms each have a part where they're preparing, just like you would do any type of march, where they're getting ready with making posters and preparing what they're going to be saying and singing beforehand. And each of the teachers get ready with their what the sayings are going to be on the posters, and what we try to express is what our root beliefs are in the school, things like God in all things, we're better together, but we're trying to express throughout the neighborhood and this year throughout the world. We are made for greatness. And then we're also putting down quotes from the prayer of St. Francis, prayer for peace, and other things that the students want to express. There was some very as you can see up there was some really creative posters this year, adding up their ideas of what they want to see, because the students are the change makers, and they're going to be taking over. So we are made for greatness, as you see. That again, these are our root beliefs. So the students are getting these things together in their class, and they're walking around with their class to hold them up, and parents and other community members are joining us in this march, and they're walking around singing. So we're preparing and singing beforehand, and we're singing songs that we usually sing at liturgy and prepare each year, things like Monumental Love, or songs that we really know well, like We're Marching in the Light of God, and praying. The second grade class did the rosary all the way around the block. So
you march. You march from the school, and then you make your way to the police department as well, the local district office, or no?
No, just right around the perimeter of our building.
But
into the fort, we pray at each corner with the Leo students.
And the police come and join you then, correct?
Yes, they do. Good friends of ours.
So you have these partners, they're alums who now go to Leo High School. What do they tell you about, coming full circle? I mean, once they were the elementary students walking around the school, and now they're coming back as sort of leaders, and that must be a special experience.
They are so excited to return to the school. They, Mr. McNair, who is the gentleman who brings them over to us, starts talking, and they're like, I'm going, don't leave without me. So for them, it's really powerful. And for our kids to listen to them be the readers, it really shows what kind of role models our young men have become. They're role models in the building, but then when they leave, it's just a special, really special feeling to see them on the corner reading to our students and showing that next step in the growth that they can have, because our younger kids will say, when I go to Leo or when I leave, I'm coming back to help at the prayer walk.
Well, that's so important. As you have these discussions with them ahead of time, you know, those of us who grew up in a different era, you know, we always say, you know, we didn't have to face these challenges when we were the age of your students. How do they handle that?
You know, it's hard. They live quite different lives than I know I grew up living. And, you know, we talk about the importance for the kids, and we say it at the prayer march. Our kids should be able to go to bed at night knowing they're safe in their beds, and they should be able to walk to and from school if they're walkers, knowing that they're going to be safe. And we are that safe haven for so many of our kids. When they're in our building and they're with us, they know that we're going to keep them safe. But it needs to be bigger than that. And that's why it's so important that they see themselves, like Mrs. Thornton said, as change makers.
I mean, it's actually planting a seed of hope, I guess. And, you know, you want to know that you have a stake in your future and you can enact change. And that's what something like this does. It's faithful, but it's also community-based as well, I assume.
It is. And I think, you know, we had probably about 50 people join us in addition to our 275 kids. We had Big Shoulders Fund here. We had donors, people from the Archdiocese. And then we had a lot of police from CPD. And then we had some other just special friends of the school who were here and walked with classes. Oftentimes, even if a teacher retires, they'll return and come on the prayer walk with the kids as well. Because it really exemplifies everything we stand for. There's just a joyous feeling about making that action.
I love the word you chose, joyous, because it's not a somber walk around the building. It's an empowering walk, and it's joyful.
Exactly. And the kids, I mean, they love to sing, like Mrs. Thornton said, second grade did the rosary, and they were so proud. But just that being together in community, and it's not just one of us, it's all of us working for this greatness and this peace that our kids and all of us so deserve.
Well, we love talking to everyone at St. Benedict the African, and we're talking about your prayer walk and your peace walk right now. But I want to talk about another. There was a lot of attention on your school recently because not long after the walk, you dedicated a brand new playground, and the students actually had input on the design of the playground. I think it's very cool.
They did. So last year we started a student leadership council. We had never had one before. And we really wanted to change it into don't do things for kids they can do for themselves. So one of the things they asked for and really wanted was a new playground. So we got them books and they started looking through the books and we gave them some parameters and they designed it. And I remember the first time one of the children who helped design it saw it and he walked outside and he said, "That's it. That's what we designed."
How wonderful. I mean, planting the seed, who knows, maybe they'll design some of the new skyscrapers here in Chicago someday. But I mean, it all starts with the playground, I guess. What were some of their ideas? I'm sure they had some like incredible ideas, like we're going to have a roller coaster in the playground. How did you walk them back from that?
Some of the things that they wanted, I think grander schemes were like swings, but we don't have that kind of space back there. But I mean, they got a lot that they wanted because there's a slide, there's a rocker, there's a place to throw balls that spin. I mean, they got a lot. I mean, climbing across the bars that go across, and I mean, a lot of the upper body strength that I know I never had. We were challenging a lot of the adults that day to do some things, but I mean, a lot of those chin-up bars for both the taller kids and the younger ones, they've been a lot of flips. I think they got a lot of the things that they were hoping for. Now, and again, it's that community, the time that they get out there.
So did they look in a catalog or did they draw pictures?
They used catalogs first, and then they knew we needed a 28-foot fall zone. That was what we knew the parameters were. So they used books first, and then they started to draw ideas. And then when we got the first blueprints back from the playground company, the leadership kids went around to the younger kids to show it to them, and that was exciting as well, because they got all the little ones excited because they weren't part of the planning.
So how long did the whole process take? Like, let's say, from the idea that, hey, we're going to get the kids involved in the design, to let's cut the blue ribbon and welcome everybody onto the playground.
It was about 10 months, because we also had to find funders for it. While it, like you said, it's not the biggest playscape, it's pretty big for the space. But we had to change the foundation that it was on. We had to get all this rubber mulch that the kids helped put down, and Leo boys after the prayer march helped put down, and that had to be 6 inches deep. So it is a lot of rubber mulch.
Did the mulch arrive like on a truck, and then the kids like picked it up and dropped it down? Is that what?
So it did arrive on trucks, and it came on 3 separate orders. We had grown-ups really moving the mulch over to the space for the kids. And then you can see those foam pieces, we had to put those down. And then the day this was 8th grade that was out helping, but a couple of kids in that picture were part of the design team. So for them, they really, not only had the brains behind it, they were the physical piece behind it as well.
And where exactly is the playground? Is it directly next to the school? Like, what are some of the things you learned about the proper way to design a playground?
It's on the south side of the gym, south side of the school. I think we learned a lot about all of us, fall zones. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else was important. Just what was actually going to work. What was safe for the kids.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in the 3rd grade. I was, we used to call them monkey bars or something when you'd go across, and I fell and I landed on myself, and I broke my arm because of how I fell, and that was on the hard concrete that I fell. So I guess this soft rubbery mulch is what guards against complications like that when kids are bound to fall down.
It's hard going across those. I mean, if you hold those, but kids let go in the middle and will hit the ground, but that mulch does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Even walking in it is difficult.
Well, it must mean so very much for the students to step back and just say, I did that. Just like you said at the beginning of this portion of the interview. It's an empowering moment, and it's a chance to, perhaps plant the seed for what they might do later in life. So kudos to every one of those design engineers at the school. I think it's a great idea that they were able to put it all together, and it was great for you folks to think that they should be included that way as well, and to create this space. So kudos to you for that, for the prayer walk, the prayer for peace. And if we can just go back to the prayer walk for a second, I understand that, this was born locally, but we are in a time of conflict in various locations. And I assume that was part of the entire project.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's what, we took that as another theme. And one of our students, actually the school leadership council president, read one of the prayers that Pope Francis wrote for the Middle East. And so she read that at the prayer walk, and when we were at the end, when we were closing everything out, and she read the Pope's prayer, and I think it resonated with everyone, and that it was, again, as you said, not just for our local community, but more globally, bringing it all together.
And when we say we're all in this together, it's not just in our neighborhoods, it's globally. So congratulations on all the great things happening at the Academy of St. Benedict the African. We really appreciate it. You're there in the Englewood neighborhood. Folks in that neighborhood, if they want to think about Catholic school, contact the people you see on your screen right now. Jennifer Farron, Principal, Cassandra Thornton, Assistant Principal. Thank you so very much for joining us today. It certainly meant a great deal, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing you shortly because you're always doing great things out of the school. So best of luck with everything, and thank you. And thank you to our listeners and our viewers of our stream. We hope you can join us again next time here on Catholic Schools Today.